Hello, 大家好，欢迎回到外媒看中国，我是安博然。Now picture this, you guys. There are two guys sitting at a bar, a Chinese man and an American man. Now they don't know each other, so they're kind of a little bit awkward. But after a few drinks, the American kind of gains enough courage and turns to the Chinese and says, I've got to hand it to you, man. You guys, you Chinese are really good at propaganda. The Chinese guy just laughs. No one can beat American propaganda. But with that, the American guy suddenly looks really confused. He sits there and thinks for a while before saying, but we don't have propaganda. The Chinese guy replies, see what I mean? You know what they say, you guys, no one can beat Western propaganda. They're the champions, number one. So today I want to show you guys how you can use Western AI against Western anti-China propagandists who just love spreading anti-China conspiracy theories online with their uneducated audiences. In today's example, I'll use X, or formerly known as Twitter, and its built-in AI model Grok to fight fire with fire. Let's do it. Okay, you guys, just a quick video today with two really interesting examples of how you can use Western tools against Western anti-China conspiracy theorists. The first example is this guy here, Neil Thomas. And if we take a look, of course, he's in Washington, D.C., and he's a fellow with the Asia Society. Anyway, he's an anti-China conspiracy theorist. As you can see here from this tweet, he says, China prepares landmark law curtailing minority language rights. Where he goes on to claim that China is set to enact a law requiring ethnic minorities to use Mandarin Chinese as their main language of instruction. Shock horror. So basically what's happening is they've turned this around into, of course, more anti-China propaganda, claiming that minority groups are being poorly downtrodden here, which, if you saw my last video, you know is just a crock of beep. But how do we fight back using Western tools? Well, underneath his post is where I came along. And I asked Grok, what percentage of Uyghurs in China speak the Uyghur language as their mother tongue? And what percentage of Native Americans in the USA speak their language as their mother tongue? So what I'm doing is turning it back on this guy because, as we all know, the West is very hypocritical, always pointing the finger. Every accusation is a confession to what they're doing or have done themselves. Grok replied, nearly 100% of Uyghurs in China speak Uyghur as mother tongue. For Native Americans, around 13% speak a native language at home, a standard proxy for mother tongue rates. So basically, in just this one tweet, using Western AI, we've shown up this guy as really being concerned about something he shouldn't be concerned about at all when he could spend time sorting out the problems in his own country. But I went on, I didn't want to give up then. I said, thanks, Grok. So Uyghur people are bilingual, using both their native language and Mandarin? And Grok replied, yes, many Uyghurs, especially urban and younger ones, are bilingual in Uyghur, mother tongue, around 100%, and Mandarin, using both daily for work and education. Proficiency varies, lower in the rural south where some speak little Mandarin. Policies promote Mandarin as primary instruction while keeping Uyghur as a subject. And of course, I didn't want to give up then. I said, Grok, why is the situation so bad for Native Americans in the USA? If only 13% can speak their native languages, would it be fair to say that those languages are in danger of dying out and that the US government has failed to protect them? Grok replied, the decline traces to 19th, 20th century US federal boarding schools, which banned native languages, punished speakers, and enforced English assimilation, causing widespread intergenerational shift. Yes, of around 175 surviving native languages, most are vulnerable to becoming critically endangered, with fluent speakers largely elders. Speaker numbers fell 6% from 2013 to 2021. Past policies actively suppressed them. The 1990 Native American Language Act and 2024 National Revitalization Plan support revival, but many remain at high extinction risk amid English dominance. But I went on. Grok, that is terrible. With minority languages doing so well in China, you mentioned nearly 100% of Uyghur people speak their native language. You'd think people like Neil Thomas would want to study China's success and try to use it to help minorities in the US. Instead, he's posting biased and misleading reports suggesting the situation in China is bad. Why do you think that is? And Grok replied, different perspectives shape coverage of China's ethnic policies. Blah, 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 blah. Analysts like Neil Thomas, focused on Chinese politics, cite critics who see risks to cultural distinctiveness in the shift. High Uyghur native speaker rates today reflect long-standing bilingual realities in Xinjiang. US Native American cases involve distinct historical suppression, now addressed via revitalization. So basically, that guy who is posting a story claiming that China is attacking minority languages, that minority languages are in a really terrible position, and he's from the US, is showing up on his own post using Western social media AI models, Grok in this instance. And I have another hilarious example here from the Heritage Foundation, based in, you guessed it, Washington, D.C. They say, it appears that China may be building a nuclear arsenal, not for deterrence, but to engage in nuclear war fighting. So what did I do? Down below, under this tweet, I used Grok against them by asking, Grok, please tell this foundation about China's core nuclear policy of never using a nuclear weapon, except if someone uses a nuclear weapon on China first. Also, nuclear bombs have only been used twice in war, but I forgot which country was involved. Can you remind me? And Grok replied, China officially maintains its no first use nuclear policy, declared in 1964 and reaffirmed multiple times through 2025 to 2026 in white papers, UN statements, and foreign ministry briefings. Now, you guys, basically what this means is, and China is one of the only nuclear powers to do so, China has pledged never to use nuclear weapons first. It will only use them in retaliation. In other words, deterrence, which is exactly what this foundation is trying to claim China is not doing. And Grok continued, its arsenal has grown from 250 warheads in 2015 to around 600 today, with projections to 1,000 by 2030, prompting US analysts to question if it's still purely deterrent. The US used nuclear weapons twice in war, on Hiroshima, August 6, 1945, and Nagasaki, August 9, 1945. And we know the hideous devastation that followed there. Many, many innocent lives are lost. So basically, this has just shown up the foundation, really, really brutally using their own weapons, in this case, Grok, against them. And as you can see, something called ratioing here. The original post by the Heritage Foundation has 45 likes. And then my reply here asking Grok to tell me about China's policy and the country in the world that has used nuclear weapons in war has 341 likes. So clearly, this is outweighing their message and it's using their own tools against them, which is really, really interesting and really important. I hope you guys learned something today and you can use this trick yourself. See you next time.